213 Rock with Harrag Melodica on Vinylestimes Classic Rock Radio.
Hell yeah, on your web rock station on Vinylestimes, the classic rock radio, en direct ce soir. Panam, du côté de New York, New Jersey, Mr. Bobby Blitz, Ellsworth, en direct ce soir. Hi Bobby, nice to meet you.
Oh, great. Great to talk to you again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. I'm really happy for talking to you on air tonight on 213 Rock, and the name of the web rock station is Vinylestimes Classic Rock Radio. As you know, we are based in Paris, France. Thank you very much for being here on air, accepting my live invitation, of course, Bobby.
Oh, thank you, man. That's awesome. Good to be on here.
Yes, of course, le groupe légendaire de heavy thrash metal US, Overkill, sortira son nouvel album intitulé Scorched, disponible donc le 14 avril prochain, deux semaines avant le show à Paris qui sera prévu donc le 26 avril prochain, et via le label Nuclear Blast. Et bien entendu, cet album sera le 20e. Bobby, the new album Scorched will be the 20th album of the band. Wow, it will be available on April 14. Wow, what a good surprise to kick off this new year.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We held it back through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because on the release we wanted to make sure that we could tour. We always think that that's a great visibility and a great promotion for the record. So we, on the release we hit the road. We're going to be in Europe and actually coming to Paris, Trabando.
Yes, that's right. On the 26th, exactly.
It should be a great run. I mean, we're really looking forward to it. We had one tour since everything opened. That was approximately a year ago, March of 2022. But that was a U.S. tour and without a new release. So this one will be special with regard to the new release.
Alors, effectivement, comme il le dit, donc l'album sera disponible le 14 avril prochain. Le groupe sera à Paris le 26 avril prochain. Il y a une tournée, effectivement, hein, ils seront avec Exorder et Hazen. Ça va être une belle soirée en tout cas. Du côté de la Porte de Pantin, au Trabendo à Paris, ça va être énorme. Et puis pour démarrer l'année, hein, ce nouvel album Scorched, franchement, c'est super bien quoi. And the band is back, as you said, with a new album, almost 4 years. We haven't heard from you. What a long time.
I think so. You know, for us, we're always on a clock. It's usually 18 months to every 24 months or so. So 2 years or so, you get a record from us. We've been around for approximately 40 years, and we have 20 records. So there's the math equation. But this was a unique time, and I think that in as much as it was a trying and insane time for most of the world, in our house, at least we had this record to write. And that's, I think the result came out positive by taking a little bit of extra time, or actually an extra, it was a 3-year period that we wrote this. And the results are on Scorched, and they're obviously positive in my opinion.
Effectivement, entre la période pandémique et l'écriture de l'album, hein, ça a été divisé en deux. Enfin, l'album a pris à peu près 2 ans. Donc en fait, pour écrire, composer et l'enregistrer, effectivement, et c'est un album quand même qui se veut beaucoup plus heavy. Hein. I guess you talk with Didi, Dave, Derek, Jason about the new ideas for this 20th new album. The name is Scorched, to think, to compose, to record this new album. I think you talked with Didi, Dave, and Derek, Jason about the new ideas.
Oh, of course. I mean, this was, there was a pandemic, but obviously we had to stay in touch. I think the only thing that was different was that there was no standing in a room together, sharing a pizza and a few beers, and like so, and somebody's noodling around on the guitar or the bass or the drums and coming up with ideas. But we did it remotely. But there was enough time to understand what each other was doing. And I think that was necessary. So instead of saying, it's a hard circumstance for us to work under, we embraced it because again, it was the sanity, that was, an island in all of the insanity. So it was just a great place to be during that period of time when the world was locked down.
Effectivement, qu'ils sont restés connectés durant cette période pandémique, etc. Donc c'était d'habitude en studio, à partir des pizzas, des bières enregistrées, etc. Là, c'était un peu différent. Donc chacun restait chez soi, effectivement, et puis ils ont partagé les fichiers. Ils sont restés connectés. Donc chacun savait ce que faisait l'autre finalement, quoi. And Bobby, when I listened to the first track, Scorched, the opening track of the new album, I talked to myself, it's 100% in the Overkill tradition. These songs remind me heavy tracks such as Where It Hurts from the album WFO, or Mid-Green Killing Machine of the album The Grinding Well, because the new album is yet a new, slower, heavier, but very different melodies according to tracks.
Well, I think it's different dynamics, but yes. For sure there's a kind of Overkill 101 or Overkill normality in some of the tracks. So, for instance, the first single was The Surgeon. This is something that we've been doing for a long period of time, but the idea was to expand that template, to make it wider, to increase the production quality, to be better songwriters. But everything that follows that first single, The Surgeon, has got a different dynamic. There is traditional heavy metal, there is progressive thrash, there is a little bit of hardcore, there are some blues rides, there's some rock and roll, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the interest that follows after the first single will be huge, based on the fact of all these differences, dynamics and characteristics.
La caractéristique de ce nouvel album, effectivement, il y a les sons à Overkill, mais la dynamique est différente, très différente la dynamique. Hein. C'est vraiment là-dessus qu'il impose vraiment sa réponse, parce que j'ai vraiment senti quand même du grand Overkill, hein, le son Overkill, effectivement la prod, mais c'est surtout dans la dynamique qu'il insiste vraiment, Bobby, quoi. And We Can Play Song is the good example. Because this song is very different. It's the dynamic, as you said, is different.
Yeah, I think this was kind of a blues ride. This right. Thing reminds me of something you'd hear in the '70s, maybe coming out of the UK. It's kind of like Foghat on steroids, and it's a great feel for me.
Yes,
because I grew up in this era. I grew up in the era of that type of music. So when I hear Didi Verni, present a riff like this, it's something that puts me in in mind of my youth. So it's almost like going back home again. So the results are good with something like this. It's kind of like channeling your inner Black Sabbath.
Ouais, effectivement, Wicked Play, ça a été un bon exemple concernant la dynamique. Ce titre un peu le rappelle, enfin c'est comme si un peu il rentrait chez eux, c'est-à-dire que ça reste du Overkill, hein, effectivement. Il a aussi comparé ça avec un peu de Black Sabbath. And Jason Bittner, the drummer, play great on this new album because this new album contains a lot of very technical drum parts. Yeah.
Well, he really added to it. I mean, this is his second offering with us. He had done The Wings of War, which came out in 2019, and obviously it was a great introduction. His talents are fantastic. He's for sure in the top 10% of drummers in this genre, if not all kind of rock genres. He's done many different types of things. But the longer you spend with people, regardless of your talent, so it's easier for someone like Jason now to write with Dee Dee. There's a better understanding of Jason writing with me, highlighting the vocals that I do with cymbals, et cetera, working with Dave. So I do think that he's a standout part on this, and it's based on not just the extra time we had in the pandemic, but the fact that we had been touring together now for a 5-year period.
Effectivement que ça fait 5 ans qu'ils sont ensemble puisque Jason Bittner a rejoint le groupe sur l'album The Wings of War, mais vraiment il en est très satisfait quoi. Enfin, c'est vrai que les parties de batterie sont très techniques sur ce nouvel album. Il faudra vraiment tendre l'oreille et écouter ce qui se passe quoi. And on the track Won't Be Coming Back, you sang a part that I don't know, I never heard that before from you. It's very new.
Is this at the beginning of the record or?
Yes, the track.
The song?
Yes, the middle of the song. Yeah, I'm talking about Won't Be Coming Back.
It's a this song, like when I talk about dynamics on this record, this reminds me of more of a traditional heavy metal. It takes itself into, I suppose, the influences we had when we were just starting the band and what was happening around us, and that was some great Judas Priest records, some great Iron Maiden records. Now, obviously, it's not an Iron Maiden type song, but you can hear part of the influence in it, how the vocals travel with the guitars, how we match up note for note with the guitars. Dave starts picking, I start singing. Okay. And it's something from that era, I think, and that is probably early to mid-80s.
Effectivement, qu'il y a un titre qui s'intitule Want Coming Back, le milieu du titre. Effectivement, Bobby chante totalement différemment. Vous serez surpris par la voix de Bobby et l'intensité et la dynamique qu'il donne. Il compare ça à du Iron Maiden. C'est de l'influence en fait, avec du Judas Priest. Et c'est vraiment cool et c'est très étrange en tout cas. Et je pense que lorsque vous découvrez le titre, vous comprendrez ce que je prétends à l'heure actuelle, quoi. And the track Like a Fever. What a good sound. Fever. I think I would have seen Ozzy Osbourne with you on a duet for that song because it's so strange and so dark.
This when I first heard it, I could feel its uniqueness instantly. And it wasn't just the mellow part, it was how they had tuned the guitars down to, they tuned it to an A. So it's such a low frequency that when that riff comes out, it shakes all the glasses and the plates and the knives and the forks in the house. It's one of those type songs. It's just so low and growling. But the contrast between the mellow part and that low, heavy riff is just fantastic in my opinion. Something very different for us, I think, on many different levels because of the tuning, because of the heaviness, and also because of the delicate, mellow intro. Channeling the Ozzy Osbourne.
Effectivement, le Fever, le single, enfin le titre, est fantastique, quoi. C'est vraiment très étrange. C'est un peu l'esprit Ozzy Osbourne. Je voyais bien Ozzy chanter avec lui là. D'ailleurs, je disais comme ça, juste pour imaginer. Et puis ce titre est très dark et très étrange. Et puis la voix de Bobby vous entraîne, quoi. Et c'est vraiment beau à entendre. Et puis c'est surprenant de la part d'Overkill ce type d'intensité, quoi. Là, c'est ça. C'est vraiment ce type d'intensité, quoi. And Bobby, on the music video, The Surgeon, your fan are not disappointed. Because I read some great feedback from the music video on YouTube.
It seems to be accepted on a very high level, I think, with regard to production, song quality, songwriting.
Now people are
the performance.
Yes, some people said the single and the music video of The Surgeon. Someone said that's freaking awesome. Their song is unique. Another one said Overkill is one of the best band. Another one said Bobby Blitz always at a high level. Another one said glorious. Thank you, Overkill. It's fantastic. That's the feedback.
But I wrote that. I wrote that Bobby Blitz is always at a high level.
Fantastic.
Actually, Blitz is always high.
Bobby, I have a few more minutes for talking about the past. Your second album, Taking Over, I remember the artwork with 4 armored warriors. I was 16 years old from when this album came out. Wow. Deny D-Cross, Wrecking Crew, Fatally Swirled, Power Surge, In Union We Stand. These tracks are still engraved in my head for my life.
Well, I always think of, when the first record that you experience from a band that really touches you. It's almost like a first girlfriend. It's one of those. It's that mentality that you compare other things to since. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger in your head. But I do think that one of the cool things about that record is that there was 2. We started understanding what we called the wall of sound on that record and making everything bigger. And I think I started understanding how to sing just a little bit better than I had done on the first record. That I started finding my niche and my groove. So we offered some diverse, thrashy type songs, but at the same time we were starting to. It was the first step of maturity toward a longer career.
Effectivement, que c'était les débuts d'Overkill, l'album Taking Over, le deuxième album. Le premier c'était Feel the Fire. Ensuite, il y a des titres, des classiques incroyables comme Deny D-Cross, comme Breaking Crew, Fatally Swirl, Power Surge, In Union We Stand. C'est des titres qui continuent encore à jouer, qui sont encore dans la playlist. Et puis ces titres sont restés gravés dans ma mémoire parce que c'est un des albums que je préfère le plus dans le heavy metal. C'est celui-là, en tout cas, il en fait partie. Et comme il disait, c'est comme un peu votre première nana. C'est vous allez vous en souvenir toute votre vie en tout cas. Et c'est un album qui a vraiment marqué l'esprit, quoi. And your first time in Paris, I think you played in Super Act of Halloween. It was 1987, your first show in Paris.
Yes, that was this at Moulin Rouge?
Yes, the Locomotive, Moulin Rouge, that's right. Exactly.
Oh, Locomotive. Yes, Locomotive.
Yes.
And it was 2 shows. It was, I think they were doing Keeper of the Seven Keys, and we were doing Taking Over.
That's right.
And it was a full European tour. And I remember it being something really special because both bands were moving forward at very fast rates. So it was a great package. And that was some hell of a tour for us. I think it was approximately 5 or 6 weeks, if I remember so. And it was we had touched everywhere in Western Europe by the end of that.
Effectivement que c'était un 19 février 1987, c'est-à-dire il y a 36 ans. Overkill jouait à Paris pour la première fois donc à la Loco, donc le Moulin Rouge. Et puis donc il a un excellent souvenir effectivement avec Halloween. Il avait bien senti que les deux groupes allaient aller de l'avant, qu'elle allait avoir une grosse carrière et le package était fantastique, quoi. Et ça c'est ce qu'il avait vraiment bien aimé, quoi. And another special story in Paris with Overkill. Do you remember back in 1996? One of the most popular French television presenters, his name is Thierry Ardisson, was present at your show. The problem was he was a fan of a huge Overkill. I remember his face when he saw you when you go on stage. Do you know that story?
I don't know. I don't remember it. No, his face was, he gave me a look like how?
Okay, yes, his name is Thierry Ardisson. He's the most popular French presenter on the French TV. Yeah, everyone know him. And he was at the show. He was at your show. It was on the 1996. I think it was for just let me see, for the Killing Kind. For the Killing Kind album.
Yes, right.
Yes, and the problem, he was a fan of huge Overkill. But I remember his face when he saw you on stage. It's not the same band.
It's a different band.
Yes, it's a different band. Yes, it was so heavy for him. So, Bobby, next, very soon on April 26th, we'll be in Paris for a great night with Exorder and Ethan. Do you have a message for the audience tonight, please?
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to get back. It's always fun. We've been at Trabando in the past. It's a good venue. It's going to work for us again, I think. And it's good to be back on the road. So we'll see you in Paris on the 26th, and merci beaucoup.
Oh yeah, merci beaucoup Bobby. Thank you very much for this live interview tonight on 213 Rock. Je rappelle que l'album Scorched sera disponible le 14 avril prochain. Voici le track listing. L'album démarre avec Scorched, en 2 Goin Home, en 3 The Surgeon, en 4 Twist of the Week, en 5 le fantastique titre Wicked Place, en 6 Won't Be Coming Back, en 7 le fantastique aussi Fever, en 8 Harder They Fall, en 9 Know Her Name, en 10 Bag O' Bones, Bones. Le line-up, c'est Bobby Blitz Ellsworth en direct tonight, Didi Verni à la basse, Dave Links à la guitare, Derek Taylor à la guitare aussi et Jason Bittner. Tout de suite, on continue en musique, 213 Rock, Vinylestimes, le classic rock radio. Voici le nouveau single The Surgeon, Vinylestimes, your classic rock radio.
Children
Oh yeah, 213 Rock, Vinyl Times, your classic rock radio. C'était donc Bobby Blitz, Ellsworth of Overkill, qui était en direct dans 213 Rock, Vinny Times, le classic rock radio, le nouvel album. Donc il sera très prochainement disponible, à savoir le 14 avril. L'album s'intitulera Scorched et en même temps la date du 26 avril à Paris au Trabando, ça va être énorme. 213 Rock.